When was the first time you heard of ECW?
I don't recall.
Okay. Did you follow the product at all, or watch it for the talent at all, or no?
No. And that's another narrative that certain people that used to work there, and I still joke about today, is, Paul Heyman was a master at rallying the troops and creating the enemy and the bad guy so that people would rally around him and build his team. But so much of the crap that I've heard about me stealing people from him, trying to put him out of business, and I never watched his show. I mean, I've probably dropped in on, I'm not even sure I got it where I lived in Atlanta, to be honest with you. And if I did, I don't recall watching it much. Anything I watched would have been on tape, if I recall, and it was clips of it. But there was nothing there that, A, I liked. And it's funny. Here's an example. I've never liked the hardcore style. It's just never been. No, I realize, I also don't like scalloped potatoes. Doesn't mean other people shouldn't, but
Right.
I don't. But everybody that knows me has known I've always felt this way. And I was talking to Bully on the phone yesterday while I was on my way here. He said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm going to Philadelphia." He goes, "You're going to the hardcore capital of the world, and everybody knows how much you love that." And it was a joke, because I've never appreciated that presentation. And I certainly wouldn't want to have mimicked it or tried to copy it or do anything that Paul Heyman was doing at the time. A, because it's just not my taste, and B, I couldn't have gotten away with it anyway. Paul was able to get away with so much of the stuff that he did because he was under the radar. He used music that he didn't have the rights to help get his guys over because he was so under the radar that he didn't get sued. I was Turner Broadcasting. If I would have done that, it would have cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines and fees. I couldn't have done that. And the style and the presentation of his show at the time was such that it would have never worked for my network.
What are your thoughts on when WWE resurrected ECW in 2005?
I didn't quite understand it, to be honest with you. Again, and this is very personal, meaning it's my unique perspective. But I go back and I think about, okay, what was ECW? Looking back now, and it's not when it was happening, but looking back now, what was it? It was a show that was on TNN that hardly anybody watched, that did very small pay-per-view buy rates, that never made any money, that never had any licensing, never had any merchandising, never did an international tour. It was a small, rather insignificant, but very insignificant in the business, in the sense of being financially measurable. Obviously, their fan base was passionate, very passionate, but from a purely business perspective, what was it? And the reason that there was passion and the reason that the product was unique and different than, and there were many reasons, but one of them was the sheer level of violence and the extreme, no pun intended, that they would go to present their product. I didn't understand when they brought it to WWE how you could try to pick that package up as raw and crude as it was to gain the passion that it did, and then pick it up and move it over here into something that's relatively sterile and commercial by comparison.
Right.
It just seemed like a square peg in a round hole to me.
So you pretty much knew right from the get-go that it wouldn't really take off again.
I can't say that I knew. I just, again, I wasn't involved in the discussions or decisions at the time, obviously with WWE, but it just seemed like a square peg in a round hole to me.
What are your memories of One Night Stand as a show and as a launching point for the new brand?
As a show, I had a blast. I mean, again, kind of supporting what I said to you earlier. I never really followed ECW much. I didn't really quite understand the passion for it in New York or in Philadelphia and some of the markets they were famous for and embedded in. I knew I had heat with the ECW fans because of all the stuff that Paul had done, and guys like Steve Austin did, and Mick Foley, and I was a good whipping boy. If you wanted to get yourself over in ECW, all you had to do was bury Eric Bischoff.
Right.
It was kind of like falling down. It was very easy to do, and that's cool, and I understand it, and I understood it then, but I didn't understand the magnitude of it, with that core audience. So when I heard about it, it was like, oh, great, we get to do a show in New York. I love going to New York. It's fun. It'll be fun. And when I got to the arena, well, when they opened up the arena, I'd gotten there quite a bit earlier, but when the people were there, and I don't remember everything that I did, obviously, but the fucking heat I had there was awesome.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love great heat. I mean, great heat, great sex, lottery tickets, all kind of the same thing to me. It was really, really fun, and I love to perform in that kind of environment. So it was great. I don't remember how it happened, but I was somehow involved with Bully and Devon, and we were working out a spot. And I said, "Why don't you guys, haul me outside and throw me in a garbage bin?" I said, "Really? You'd let us do that?" Like, yeah, let's do that. And it ended up being part of the finish.
Right.
And I think it was Bully that ended up dumping me back there. Now that I think about it, it's like, God, I could have gotten tetanus, and I'm sure it wasn't the cleanest thing in the
Especially
world.
in New York City.
Yeah, I can't imagine doing it now, but back then I was like, fucking crowd will love it. Let's do it.